Ngā mihi o te wā in the headlines, Ewen Macdonald has been sentenced to 5 years in jail for a series of crimes which the Crown says were driven by a sense of entitlement. The fielding farmer has been sentenced on a series of charges. These include 2 counts of arson, poaching deer, destroying thousands of litres of milk and a vandalism attack on the Guy family home. Principals of Christchurch's schools were scrambling to calm parents at the news of closures and mergers. Christchurch Boys High School is one school the government is looking at to merge with Shirley Boys High. Headmaster Trevor McIntyre says he's confident schools will be able to air their concerns at consultation huis with the ministry.
We've got a process that's already enshrined in the Education Act and has been for a number of years, and it's appropriate that that process be used and that people are listened to and that they do have a meaningful dialogue and that they can have input into this situation.
Mā te mahi ngātahi mō te roanga o te wā ka e ai ngā nawe o ngai Māori ki te wai. Koe rā te whakatau I puta I te hui a wai I tū ki tūranga o wai marae ina nahi. Hei tā te hia mana I te hui a tuku Roirangi Morgan ka kawia te rā whakatau ki mua I te aroaro o te krauna me te premier. And maintaining relations is how the government views a high-powered visit from the US Secretary of Defence. Leon Panetta will visit the country next week and will meet with Foreign Minister Murray McCully and Defence Minister Jonathan Coleman. Dr Coleman says he'll take the opportunity to thank Secretary Panetta for the great help the US gave us in Afghanistan. And the violence in Libya, Egypt and Yemen, triggered by the American-made video mocking the Prophet Muhammad, is not the view of the majority of nationals of those countries. That's what Saeed Sadek, Professor of Political Sociology at the American University in Cairo, believes, despite the attack and murder of 4 members of the US Embassy in Benghazi this week.
The majority of the people, Muslims and Christians, are not extremists, but they are captive of those extremists on both sides. Each side is provoking something, and then the others are responding, and then they try to push the silent majority into extremism and suspicion and intolerance.
And Japan is set to abandon nuclear power. Reports say Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda's cabinet is due to meet tonight and will announce that it will permanently shut down all the country's atomic reactors by 2030. And a 6.3 magnitude earthquake has struck off Indonesia's Sumatra Islands. No tsunami warning has been issued. Back home in sports, the Silver Ferns are expecting Australia to try and exploit their inexperienced mid-court in the upcoming Constellation Cup series. Laura Langman is the only experienced mid-courter in the squad. Silver Ferns coach Waimarama Taumaunu says it'll be logical for the Australians to try and put pressure in that area of the court. The Silver Ferns have flown to Melbourne ahead of the first test on Sunday. And winning ugly or pretty, it doesn't seem to matter for the All Blacks. That's what Captain Richie McCaw is saying ahead of their Rugby Championship match against the Springboks in Dunedin tomorrow night. He says while they need to improve, they're not going to risk a result to play pretty. Kia kaha te kapa o pango. Koe rā ngā karere matua mai te whare kōrero o Rima, nohora mai.